What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am DL here with another movie review. We are once again getting back into the Planet of the Apes franchise. For those of you who are new, I have talked about the modern Planet of the Apes films Rise, Dawn, and War. If you haven't seen my reviews for those, check out my channel. It is on a playlist called Planet of the Apes. But the time has come. We are talking about the newest installment of the modern Planet of the Apes films, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Let's get into it. So, as I said before, I thought this modern Planet of the Apes films, I thought they were amazing. It's some of the best films I've seen in years, one of the best trilogies I've ever seen. Definitely helped to reinvigorate the franchise after the old sequels and the Tim Burton movie. Didn't expect much from these new films, but they definitely surpassed my expectations and a lot of people's expectations. Actually bringing more stories to tell and more innovation as far as the direction and the special effects. So, all around a great franchise. But we didn't expect for them to make more after those three movies. We thought it was done, especially after the Disney merger with 20th Century Studios. We didn't think that they would make more from that Disney would have other priorities when it comes to 20th Century. But they do still see more value in this franchise, which I'm really happy about. So much so that they want to make more movies after this. Like, there actually is like they want to make 9 films, including the 3 or 4 now that we already got, and they want to turn it into a 9 film franchise, which is very ambitious, I would say. But if they keep with the quality of the previous 3, I think we'll be in for something very special. So, with this new installment, they got a new director, Wes Ball. For those of you who don't know, he directed the Maze Runner movies, which I thought were solid movies. The first one is honestly my favorite, but overall the trilogy was not too bad, not too bad at all. And initially he was going to do a Mouse Guard movie. It was going to be like a CGI film, but that got canned because of the Disney and 20th Century merger. So I was actually interested in seeing what he would do with the Mouse Guard movie. Hopefully, if this movie is successful, Kingdom, that maybe they'll try to get Mouse Guard back on the table. Well, who knows? But he was definitely an interesting choice. But I think he probably would fit for something like this. So we should see what he was going to do. And then also seeing that there was going to be a significant time skip with this film. It was going to take place around 300 years after the events of War for the Planet of the Apes, which I thought that was very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. Because I'm sure later that they eventually want to get to the point where the apes are fully sentient like they are in the original film. So, of course, you got to do some massive time skips here and there. And I think this would also help to keep the franchise fresh and help newcomers in who have not seen any of the Planet of the Apes films, that they will be able to jump into this and understand everything that's going on. So I was definitely excited to see what they were going to do with this. I'm always, I'm always happy to get back into this world because it's so fascinating, and it's just the stuff with the apes. I think are still very, very great character development with the apes, and the motion capture, the special effects. I'm interested to see how far they'll go as far as them becoming more and more sentient and more smart, and adapting to new environments and stuff like that. So the thought on that was cool. The marketing looked really, really good. So definitely excited to see it. So watching this opening weekend, I'm happy to say that I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was a very, very well made film. Um, Definitely, this movie proves that there is more story to tell in this franchise for those who thought there's nothing else that they could do. This movie proves that yes, there is definitely more stories to be told, and definitely I'm excited to see where this franchise goes. Unfortunately, though, I don't think this is better than the previous 3 films. Um, I do think that I like this. I didn't like this quite as much as Rise, Dawn, or War, but I still think it's a really, really good film. I'm really hoping this franchise doesn't turn to law of diminishing returns, because that tends to happen with movies that go further than three movies. Because it's a similar thing with Toy Story as well. Because I love the first three movies, and then I really, really like the fourth film. And the fourth film I didn't think was as strong as the first three, but still really enjoyed it. So I'm just hoping that as this franchise goes on, it doesn't start diminishing as far as the quality. It doesn't start getting lower and lower. But I still I still really enjoyed this film. I thought it was very, very good. I thought it was a more than worthy successor to the previous three films. And what I really enjoyed about this movie, as I said, is that this is new territory now. Caesar is not here anymore, and we're like generations past the events of Caesar. So there's new stories to tell. There's new environments, and I'm actually really fascinated to see how the apes evolve. After 300 years or so. How much smarter that they become, and especially with this movie, it's very chilling to see the apes being as smart as they are, like becoming more and more like humans. Like in the previous movies, they relied a lot on sign language to communicate, and there's still some sign language here, but for the most part, these apes are talking throughout the entire film. They are speaking slower than we do, than we how we talk, yes, but actually just watching these apes communicate, talking to each other, having actual conversations, and like they're speaking very clearly. It's very chilling. On top of the fact that, at this point, this is a no-brainer. This is something that I'm sure is like given knowledge when you watch these Planet of the Apes films, but the visual effects in this movie is amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. Like, I believe that these are real apes talking. That they're walking around, they're doing human things, they're riding horses, they're training eagles in this movie. They're doing all this crazy stuff, and it's just so fascinating how far we've come with the visual technology, to where it's like, you're able to convey emotions through the motion capture. Like, you actually see the emotion on the apes' faces. Like, you see the texture of their fur, the texture of their skin when they're crying. You see the details in their tears, or like their expression with their eyebrows, or their eyes, whatever. Like, all of that in this movie is amazing. It's chilling. It's very chilling. I'm really convinced that these apes are talking and walking around. It's amazing. Um, this goes to show you that, you know, Avatar isn't the only film that's able to pull off these visual effects so well. Not only with the details with the apes, but just the environments now. Like, since we are like 300 years to the future, a lot of the technology and cities that the humans created is covered with forest and trees, and it looks like a cutscene from The Last of Us, which I still have not played yet. But it kind of reminded me of that. Like, this, I wouldn't even say post-apocalyptic, because I don't know if that fully classifies as that. But just seeing how much greener the planet has become because the humans have evolved, and seeing these larger than life environments in here, it's all beautiful. Like, it looks like they're actually here in these giant grasslands with the trees and the abandoned buildings and stuff like that. It's very gorgeous just to see these characters walking around these environments. Like, it's groundbreaking what they're doing with the green screen and stuff like that. It's like, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But getting to the story, like, we are following new sets of characters, and I thought these new sets of characters were really, really good. The main ape that we follow, Noah, I thought he was really, really good, really great, and I appreciate that they weren't trying to replicate, Caesar. Like, he's his own character. He's going through his own journey, which is something that I expected because these are many, many years after Caesar. So, but I liked his development because in this in this timeline, it's like there are different clans of apes, and it was very fascinating to see that the apes have divided into their own nations, their own, colonies and stuff like that, and they have their own beliefs and stuff, like separate beliefs, which is very interesting. Like in his clan, like I said earlier, like he's training eagles. They train eagles, and that's like a rite of passage for them, which is like another nuts thing to see apes training eagles. I thought, or hawks, like that stuff was really really cool. But just seeing that, we're now creating. I guess it's crazy for me to say ape politics in here. Like it's just very fascinating to see that, since a lot of time has passed. And what's even more interesting about that is that, now that they're creating all these different colonies or ape politics and stuff like that, it was cool that they were, well, I wouldn't say cool, but it's like it's very interesting how, you know, everything started with Caesar, of how, the apes live living on, together and stuff like that, like his like teachings to the apes, that trying to coexist with humans, and apes won't kill another ape. And one of the biggest themes in this movie is that since many years have passed since Caesar died, like it's his teachings start to get more and more, you know, they change throughout the years because, since it's been so many years that his teachings don't, stay consistent because, apes, because they're, we get to a point where apes haven't lived with Caesar, and some of them don't even know who Caesar is, and his teachings start to get muffled as the years go on, and they don't have enough people to carry on the teachings of Caesar, and so you have different apes believe taking Caesar's teachings and portraying it in different ways or in ways that will benefit them. So it's kind of like how religion is, where it's like, some people interpret religion in different ways. And since it's been centuries since the Bible has been created, there's a lot of different interpretations of the teachings, and a lot of people take it in different ways, and that's how you start branching off with different religions or different beliefs. So they do that similar thing here with Kingdom, which I thought was very fascinating, and only very few actually know of how Caesar is and how he wanted the apes to be. And so now seeing all these different colonies, actually going against each other, apes going against each other, and that's not something that Caesar would have wanted. He didn't want apes enslaving other apes. He didn't want apes trying to kill other humans, So it's like it was just fascinating to see all of that. But yeah, I thought Noah was really really good. He doesn't command the room like Caesar does. Of course, this is like I wouldn't even call it a hero's journey, but like it's I would say more of a rite of passage film. He's a much more calm character. He's a little bit more introverted than Caesar. But still, I think he's a very very compelling. Owen Teague did a really good job motion capturing him. I think he will come to his own as the films go on. And then my other standout would be Raka, played by Peter McCann, who was the orangutan. He almost stole the movie for me. I loved him in this film. The interactions that he has with Noah, I thought was really really good, and he's one of the few people that still remembers Caesar's true teachings when it comes to the apes, and he tries to keep that alive. So I thought it was really good, and he actually has some legit funny moments in here too. He actually helped to bring some levity to the film. So yeah, I thought he was really good. I wish he was in it more. Actually, I mean, it's not like he was a cameo, because he was significant in the film, but he's not in it throughout, and I was kind of disappointed about that. But with the moments that he is in it, I thought he was really good. And then the main human character that we follow, May, I thought she was good. I thought she was pretty good. There is a certain surprise with her that I did not expect, which I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't watched it yet, but like there's definitely more to her character in the film that I thought was very fascinating, and kind of has to do with the fate of the remaining humans on the planet. So the interaction that she has with Noah and Raka, I thought was really good. There's a good camaraderie that they have between the three, and these are going to be the main three that we're following with these new set of films, I think we'll be up for it for sure, and definitely helps to make the story more interesting, more like interesting as they expand on the stuff between the ongoing war between the apes and the humans in this. So very very fascinating, and like also still trying to question like can apes and humans coexist still, especially after everything that's happened with all these years with the apes evolving and the humans devolving. So all that stuff was great. The main antagonist of the film, Proximus Caesar, played by Kevin Durand, I thought he was really, really good. I thought he was a really, really solid villain. He was very charismatic. He definitely commanded a presence. He actually, was a bit intimidating in places. Um, of course, his epic line in the trailer was amazing. What a wonderful day and stuff like that. Like him giving his speech and stuff like that. I thought all that was great. And he's actually a really big ape. Like when he's like standing next to Noah, like he just towers over him. So it's like really big ape, has intimidating presence. He has charisma. Really liked him. I don't know if he's like as good of a villain as Koba, but he does serve his purpose in the film. I thought was very good. Once again, raising questions about there being ape kings, and he's named himself after Caesar, and like he's like influencing other apes with this teachings of Caesar that he like he's not truly teaching the ways of Caesar. Like he's like kind of manipulating the apes to benefit himself, which it's just crazy to see these apes manipulating Caesar's teachings and like creating divides between different apes where they're going against each other, because this is definitely not something that Caesar would have wanted. But yeah, all that was really really cool. The giant gorilla in the film, that's like the main guard for Proximus. I thought he was really really good. I forgot his name. Was it Koro? I think it was Koro. But yeah, I thought that he was really good. The action scenes I thought were very entertaining. Once again, the visuals were really good. If I had some criticisms with the film, it's probably the length of the movie. I think the movie was a bit too long. This film is 2.5 hours, and I didn't think it needed to be that long. I don't understand Hollywood's obsession with making blockbusters over 2 hours. Like it's unnecessary in my opinion. I wish we can go back to having movies being like 2 hours and 10 minutes or 2 hours and 15 minutes. Or if they are going to make it 2.5 hours, you got to make sure that every moment counts. Don't have don't like stretch things out unnecessarily or have a unnecessary filler. I think the last film that was like 2.5 hours, where it's like I felt like every moment counted, was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Like I think that was a really good 2.5 hours right there. Even with Dune, that was like over 2 hours and 45 minutes. Like I even felt the length of that. It was a really good film, but even I thought that movie was long, and like the Batman was like close to 3 hours, and I thought that was unnecessary. Like I don't know what is up with them trying to make all these films 2.5 hours. Like you don't need to do that. But I digress. But yeah, the pacing of this movie is really really slow. I wouldn't say I was bored. I wasn't bored watching this movie, but there were certain moments that I think was taking too long to get to the point. There's a lot of like, walking around in the environments and just exploring and just riding on horses, where it's just like, okay, we get that the movie looks beautiful, like the visuals are amazing, and you want us to see everything, and so I get it. But it's like I feel like they could have gotten to the plot a lot quicker in certain moments. There's just a lot of just like, I wouldn't say filler, but just a lot of it feels like there's some padding in here that didn't need to be here. And then yeah, the action was very entertaining. I think we could have used a little bit more action. I only remember like maybe three big set pieces in here. For a movie being that long, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more action. And then, as I said, Proximus Caesar I thought was a solid villain, but he actually wasn't in the movie as long either. Like we actually don't get Proximus Caesar till almost 45 minutes to an 45 minutes to an hour into the film. Um, and you know, I just wish we felt more of his presence, you know, because I thought he was a really interesting character, but we could have used more of him. Um, but those are probably like my biggest issues with the film. But overall, I did really enjoy this film, and I'm very interested to see where this goes because this is new territory now, and so it's like you know this franchise can go anywhere, honestly. Though I am interested to see where Noah and May and Raka go. If these are the main characters that we're following. Um, and you know just this is new territory now 300 years after the events of the previous three, and you know so I actually do want to see them eventually get to the point where they are in the original film where they're fully talking like humans, they're like you know they're acting like humans, their society is has evolved and become modern. So I definitely want them to get to that point. Do I want them to remake the original movie? No, not at all. But you know, if we're getting 9 movies of this, I hope that we eventually get to the point where the apes are there. So, but I thought Noah was a really good character, really good new lead for these new Planet of the Apes films. He's not better than Caesar, but he doesn't need to be better than Caesar. Caesar is like the standard, you know. It's like I didn't expect for Noah to be a better character than Caesar, you know, but like I am invested enough in him where I do want to follow him, you know, as the lead. I do want to see where his journey goes. Once again, I thought Rocco was really, really good. Um, May was good. Proximus Caesar, I thought was a really pretty solid villain, even though I did want more of him. The visual effects were fantastic. The world building with the apes, I think, are very fascinating with the different clans of apes and their different beliefs and and the different environments and stuff like that. So I thought that was really good. Um, so yeah, not my favorite in the franchise. It probably is my least favorite of the 4 so far, but still think it's a more than worthy sequel to these new Planet of the Apes films. So I will give Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes a B plus. It was really, really good. But those are my thoughts on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? How's it compared to the previous 3 films? How's it compared to all the Planet of the Apes films in general? Are you guys excited to see more from these modern Planet of the Apes films? Do you guys want a 9-film franchise? Do you want them to get to the point where they are in the original movie where the apes are fully sentient? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know. So, I probably will go back at some point and talk about the original Planet of the Apes films. That'll probably be at a later date at some point. So, tune in for those when it comes out. But if you guys enjoyed this review, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But that's all I have for you Planet of the Apes fans, and I will see you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. What a wonderful day!